You what? You drove the car home? Kim echoed. A Porsche wasn't the most expensive luxury car brand to exist, but it was still worth a lot of money. How could Stephen afford it? Natalie was suspicious. Are you lying to us? Mom, wait. I'm going outside to check if there's really a car there, Amy said. If Stephen really was lying to them, then she would expose him and let Kim see his true colors. A few minutes later, Amy called out to Kim and Natalie in a panicked voice. They rushed out the door thinking that something had happened to her. However, they were greeted by a luxurious Porsche parked in front of their house. Amy was standing next to the car with her phone in her hands. I just searched it up. This car was recently released, and it's worth more than $6 million. Stephen, what's going on? Kim asked with a frown. There was no way he could afford a $6 million car. $6 million? Natalie exclaimed. Damn it, Stephen. I thought you were only a freeloader, but you're actually a thief who steals money from your own family. When Natalie was about to grab Stephen's arm, Kim stopped her. Mom, calm down. He didn't use my money. I only have a few $100,000 in the bank right now. It's impossible for him to steal $6 million from me. Kim looked at Stephen in disappointment. Aren't you going to explain yourself? At this time, the head of the security team, Aaron, spotted them as he was making his rounds. Mr. Adams, I just saw a video of you buying a Porsche. Can I have a look? Aaron had always been a die-hard fan of luxury cars, so he couldn't pass up this opportunity. Amy rushed over to Aaron and asked him to show her the video. When he searched up the video and pressed on the play button, Amy took the phone from him. Natalie and Kim waited anxiously for her to finish watching the video. Stephen didn't just buy a Porsche. He bought the entire car center for $120 million. Natalie and Kim were stunned. Stephen used $120 million to buy a car center, but he hadn't said a word about this. When was he planning on telling them? Stephen, does this have anything to do with global investment? Kim asked. She had a feeling that Keisha treated Stephen differently compared to the way she treated everyone else. Stephen looked at Kim in admiration. He had been racking his brain to come up with an excuse, but she had solved all of his problems with a single sentence. I knew you'd figure it out. I actually took on a job at Global Investment. I bought the car center because Keisha told me to. Kim glared at Stephen. That was fine and all, but why would Keisha give him one of the cars? And why did he just accept it? Kim didn't know why she was so angry. She couldn't bring herself to like the new car no matter how many times she looked at it. Forget it. If you want to drive this car around, go ahead, but don't bring me along. Stephen could tell that Kim wasn't happy with the Porsche. No, it's okay. I'll just return the car. Before he could do anything, Natalie snatched the car keys from his hand. Hold it right there. You already accepted the car. You can't return it. Mom, Keisha gave him this car as a gift. What right do you have to take it? He's been freeloading at our house for 3 years. What's wrong with me taking the car? Think about how much he owes our family. This $6 million is like interest. To Natalie, the Porsche was a priceless treasure. She couldn't let Stephen return it to Keisha. I don't care anymore. Do what you want. Kim was too frustrated to continue arguing. She turned around and walked back to the house. Stephen noticed that Kim was jealous, and it made him happy. He ran after her. Wait, Kim, didn't you want to buy a new car tomorrow? Kim didn't slow down. No, I can't afford a Porsche. I don't need a Porsche. I'll like whichever car you pick out. Stephen was following Kim close behind. He almost bumped into her when she stopped abruptly. Kim turned around and stared at him. Are you implying that I'm not as good as Keisha because I can't afford a Porsche? Stephen was at a loss when he met her serious gaze. He had a feeling that their conversation was headed in the wrong direction. After an intense stare-down with Kim and trying to convince her that he didn't mean it like that, they decided to purchase a car today instead of waiting until tomorrow. The next morning, Stephen drove Kim to work in their new car. If you're free in the afternoon, can you pack some of Amy's clothes and bring them to her at university? She said she's too busy to come home and get them herself. Sure, I'll drop by our school later. After Kim went inside, Stephen drove back to the villa. The house was empty. Natalie had taken the car keys and left to show off their new Porsche. Stephen had nothing to do, so he went to Amy's room to pack her clothes. Who would have thought that the Grand Palace Master would have to use his free time to help his sister-in-law fold her clothes? Amy's suitcase was in the corner of the room. She had left it open, and her clothes were scattered on the floor. Stephen sighed as he reached for one of Amy's shirts. To his surprise, there was a large image of a cat printed on the front. He glanced at the other clothes on the floor. Most of them were graphic tees decorated with outlandish designs. He felt like he had discovered a whole new side to Amy. It took some time, but Stephen finally finished folding all the clothes. He neatly put them inside the suitcase and brought it outside the house. He opened the trunk of the car and put the suitcase inside. Around an hour and a half later, Stephen arrived at Amy's university and dialed her number. Amy wasn't pleased when she received a call from him. What is it? This had better be important. Kim asked me to bring you your clothes. Forget about it. If you dare show up at my school, I won't let it go, Amy warned. I'm already here. What? Where are you? Don't move and stay where you are. I'm coming right now. Not long after Amy hung up, Stephen saw her running out of the university's gates. She skidded to a stop and gasped for breath as she looked around. As soon as Amy spotted him, she looked like she wanted to throttle him. Amy ran up to Stephen and pulled him around the corner. If her classmates found out she had such a useless brother-in-law, they would surely laugh at her. What the hell are you doing here? She whispered. Your sister asked me to come. Stephen put the suitcase in front of her. Here, this is for you. Amy quickly unzipped the suitcase to check the contents. Her face reddened when she saw her personal belongings inside. There was a murderous look in Amy's eyes as she glared at Stephen. You didn't open it, right? Nope, Stephen answered casually. Good. You've done what you've came to do, so leave. In her rush, Amy only zipped up the suitcase halfway. She grabbed the handle and dragged it towards the school gates. Not even 2 steps later, one of the wheels snagged on a rock, and the suitcase tipped over. It fell open, and her clothes spilled all over the ground. Stephen hurried over to help Amy pick up her clothes. Amy gritted her teeth. Did you not hear what I said? Leave! This was all because of Stephen. Bad luck followed him everywhere he went. Someone called out to her. Hey, Amy. I didn't think you were into graphic t-shirts. Do you walk around with a cat plastered on the front of your shirt? How tacky. It was Clara Avery, Amy's rival. Clara was taller than her, and she dressed in outfits that showed off her beauty. Amy threw her shirt into the suitcase and got to her feet. How is that any of your business, Clara? You're right, it's none of my concern. How can an immature girl like you understand the fashion of mature women like me? Clara glanced at Stephen. From what I can see, you and this man were probably living together until recently. After he dumped you, he kicked you out. Amy clenched her fists. Don't make wild assumptions when you don't know what's going on. Clara grinned. She had no intention of stopping. What happened to your pride? No matter how cheap you are, you can't shack up with some random man you probably found on the streets.